All right, how's it going, everyone? Tyler Hopkins here with marketingbrodhersagency.com. So we actually just changed our .com from a .io because we're having a lot of issues. So there are still some issues with .ios, by the way, just in case you were wondering. But what we're going to be doing in this video is actually going over how to quickly update a martial arts logo in 2022. So why 2022? Because there's new tools that come out and it's just a lot easier than you think it is. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be taking one of our clients who doesn't know we're doing this at all. They actually use us for running Google ads. So this has nothing to do with their actual logo. So when I saw their logo, I was like, ooh, we should probably update this. So one of the first things I do is do a little bit of research. So see if I can find another logo that they might be using. Then I also see what is their size of their image and why it comes in a little bit pixelated. And when it's applied to a website, it's pretty small. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to update it for them. So the whole purpose of this video, which I'm going to try to do once a week, maybe once every other week, how to update a logo or something related to logos. Then I'll be putting out other content also related to graphics or anything related to small business marketing. So I'm going to be doing logos. I'll show you how to do other graphics as far as on your website or on social media, so you can manage your social media posts. And that's what we're going to be doing. So welcome, cheers, subscribe if you would, if you actually want to learn how to do a lot of this marketing stuff yourself. I've been a freelance digital marketer for around 10 years, mostly doing my own projects, but also helping buddies like this guy right here, David Bamber. My mentor, Alan Sugarman. I like to work with small business startups and other entrepreneurs who are like-minded. And those types of people tend to need somebody who is more of a jack of all trades, master of some, and that's pretty much me. So what we're going to be doing is using PicMonkey. So I'll put all the tools that we're going to be using, softwares, apps, in the description below. Alright, so let's jump straight into this. So one thing I like to do is just go ahead and copy their logo. Save to your computer. Let's go ahead and put it in our Marketing Brothers file. Now we have it. And when we go to PicMonkey, so go to picmonkey.com, and this is more of a drag and drop, very easy to use, small business oriented graphic design software. So if you need to make anything at all, I would use this, or you can use a software like Canva. Canva is another good one. I'm just very familiar with PicMonkey, so you'll see me switching back and forth from PicMonkey to using Canva. So you'll learn both of that here. So let's go ahead and bring in our logo. So go to graphics, add your own, or you can have gone to photos, it doesn't really matter. Go to wherever you put it. And what I also like to do is look at where it's applied to. So it's on their website, it's on this blue background. It looks like they're highlighting a lot of this red. So if I'm going to use a red to recreate their logo, I'm going to use the same exact red. So I do Command-Shift-4, and I copy the colors. So in this case, I'm going to copy these blues, the white, and the red all at once. And now I can pull it into PicMonkey the same way I pulled in that logo. Go to your screenshots, wherever you keep your screenshots. I don't know. None of my business. For some reason, it puts it in folders like this sometimes. No date. Okay, buddy. I just did it though. So we can pull that in. Now we can start copying some of these colors if we wanted. So first thing I'm going to do is sometimes I'll make like a color palette. So I'll make a couple of these circles, or you can just right click, duplicate. So you're going to learn how to use these tools too. So if you hold shift, click on the other one, now you have both of them, and now they're grouped. Now if you hit Command C, Command V, you made two more that are identical. Just in case you ever need to do that. Not saying you're going to need to. Alright, now let's copy some of these blues. So come over here to your color change, go to your dropper, hover over the area you want to copy, clearly. I don't think any of this is too unbelievable. So go to your dropper. Let's find some of these different blues. Let's go do a dark blue next to the logo. And then let's do a lighter blue. Boop. And let's just call this one black or white. So we're basically focusing on these colors, which we're probably not going to use most of them because we don't need to. What we're going to do is we're going to recreate their logo with some of the same style. So I have my little checklist. So the first thing you're going to want up clearly with your logo is for it to be visible and for there to be clear visibility of your logo. So as you can see, there's an issue with their logo where you can't really read the Taekwondo. So what they did was they have more of a weathered look to their logo. So the font that they used is weathered. You can call it weathered or used. So let's go ahead and recreate their logo. So they have a font that's strong, it's bold, it does not have any serif, which are the feet. So this would be a sans serif. I didn't go to school for graphic design, but I read it here one time. Alright, so let's do bold. Let's do Arial. So this is something I'll use just as like a template. Since we're on the white background, let's go ahead and change that to what it's going to be laying on since we copied these blues. Oops. Oh, it's taking the color. So we have our background. Oops. Sometimes it's hard to get to it. Oh, because that was over top. So let's do the dark blue, because that's what the logo is going to be sitting on. And it gives us a better idea of what the logo is going to look like. And sometimes you might need to pan out so you can have a better view of the logo. And what we're using is a 2000 by 2000 pixel. And the image that they have is a 512 by 512. So we're increasing it by 4. So let's go back. So it's going to be less pixelated regardless. So let's try to get this out of the way for now so that we can pull in our text. And let's do the same white that they used. Get rid of whatever I just typed. And let's do Absolute. If you ever need to drag the logo in, you can. We're also going to be using a bunch of these different fonts. So don't get too crazy with your fonts. The font that we're dealing with now, so they have it a little bit elongated. So if I was going to use this font, let's just say, and I want to make it as similar as I can, one of the tools you'll be using is hold shift and get this little corner and drag it down and over if you want to resize it and reshape it to make it more long. Sometimes I'll lay it over the graphic, change the color to something weird, and try to just get a general feel of what the old logo looked like. So now I have the Absolute. I can change it back to white. And I will duplicate the layer, and then we'll start making the Taekwondo. T-A-E, Taekwondo. We'll make this a little bit smaller. So the whole idea with this is we're going to try to make this more visually appealing so that you can see it when it's laying over top of other things. While their logo is cool as far as weathered look, because Taekwondo and, the more experience you get, just like, the whole belt system, the more you practice, the dirtier and grungier your belt will get until it turns black. Same case here. You can kind of figure they're using more of a weathered look for whatever reason they have. I like the idea of it, but it's not really working too well for their logo. So let's go and start changing some things up. So I can show you where they have some of these weathered looks down here at the bottom. Like here's one on boring. But this just isn't going to show very well when you lay it over top of something that's very busy. Let's say you lay it over top of an image that looks like this. You can't really see it. So we're going to try to use a logo that is bold, it's strong, but it's a little bit more easier to read. So go ahead and play with some of these. Try not to make them too crazy. So when I started doing graphic design, I would over design things, which makes things look bad. So you'll see a lot of my designs are very simple, which is good. That'll help you out. So again, this is more of a weathered look. We're not going to use anything like this. Let's use something a little bit that's too fun, that's too bubbly. So we're trying to find something similar that's strong. And I start at the bottom because those are some of their newer designs. So this is a good one. There's some uniqueness to it with the S. So let's go with this one for now. Then we can create the finished product. So since I stretched this out before, I can go ahead and pull it back in. And if I want to use my reference point, I can. So that's what I'll do. So I'll shrink it down a little bit. Since this is a little bit more close together, you could separate the letters if you want. Here's a little trick. Go to text spacing, letter spacing. You can pull it out a little bit if you wanted. I'm going to leave it as it is, and we will just recreate the logo with this. So let's do Absolute Taekwondo. So of course, since we're on the 2000 by 2000, I'm going to try to optimize the space and try to use as much as I can. And then I'll just crop out the rest. So let's get rid of this. Right click, duplicate the layer. So now I have the exact match. Let's go ahead and do Taekwondo. Oops. Taekwondo. Then I can shrink this down, put this over here in the corner. So that actually looks pretty sick. Just as a quick little recreate. So right now I'm going to try to line it up with the O and the E, just to give a little bit of visual pleasure. And let's make the same kind of red details that they had. So you can go up to graphics, go to basic, and you can use this one I use a lot. And you can change the color the same way. Use the dropper. Boop. Or you can go a little bit more fancy. It's probably still in basic. but you can try to find something that's a little bit more weathered. This is cool because they have animated stuff too, so you can make it into a video if you have any kind of graphics where you need to like point to something. But let's just go try to find something here. So I like this look. I know they don't have that, but it's kind of, yeah, let's not do that. Let's not mess with it too much. So the whole idea is to get you familiar with how to use PicMonkey, how you can quickly just update and do it yourself, even if it's just to make the resolution better. So with their logo, let's pull that back in. So I have it under photos. So I think there's doing it kind of like the stripe belt system, I'm assuming. Looks like they have a white border around it. So let's just recreate this to the T. To the T. So you got your Absolute, and they have one thicker and a thin line. And it also looks like they have a border around it. So you can go to shadows and outline. Let's make that white like they have theirs. Bring down the thickness for sure. See what it looks like. That's not too bad. I think theirs was a little more subtle. So let's change that. Go back to outline. Thickness, let's make it a 5. There you go. Let's try that. Duplicate this layer. And we're going to bring it right above to the tip of the next of the T. It's not really letting me do that. So you just want to try to line everything up. And if it gives you issues like this with it trying to fit it in there, go to settings, align and snap, turn that off. Then you can come back in here. Oops. And then you can line it up yourself. So I'll try to get it lined up, and then I'll snap it back in place with the tool. There we go. So it's still sitting a little bit above, so it's taking the edge of the red and not the white. So as long as it's side by side works, then I'll adjust it myself. This is just the minor details, like you don't have to do it this way, but if you want everything to line up, sometimes it's a little bit more difficult. Alright, so we got that. Let's see how this looks. And you can also do different layouts of this. I think these both are a little too thick. But their gap, let's see, where's their gap? Oh, so the whole thing's a little bit smaller. So if I take Taekwondo, let's shrink this down a little bit. There we go. I think this is going to work a lot better. Let's go ahead and start snapping. So some of the video is going to be boring, I get it, but you're supposed to be learning here. All right, chill out. Like you guys are talking back. Alright, so that's looking a lot better. So let's get rid of this. And now we can start playing around with the different variations of it. So I can just pull all these things out of frame. We're going to first crop it. So come over here to Edit, Crop Canvas. Bring in your edges so that it's nice and tight. Apply. Now we're going to get rid of the background. So this variation is going to be just the white and the red. So go ahead and download it. Boom, got your PNG. And now let's do a black version. So this is another benefit. You can get all your variations that you want. You could potentially leave that white border, but if you did want to make it black, you could. Come over here, go to outlines, go to your outline, change this to black, which actually looks pretty nice. And I'm going to send this to the owner. And you have your colors saved down here, the ones that you use the most. As you can see, I changed the wrong thing. So I need to come over here to outline, change this to black, and now it's good. So go ahead, save it again. Hopefully I spelled everything right. I'm doing all this, and then like the most obvious thing spelled wrong, which I might do that in the future just to play around. Alright, so we have those two different versions. I would probably make a gray version, just because the solid black can be a little much sometimes. Maybe keep the outline here. So we have that variation. And you can also do different layouts. So that's one of the things I wanted to go over real quick, is how you can do different layouts. So you have your Absolute Taekwondo. Let's change the canvas size real quick. Let's pull this up. And let's say you wanted to make like a circle. I think that would be fun. Let's put it back at 2000 by 2000. Alright, so how you can do that is, let's take your two and you can curve them. So come over here to curve text, and we're going to do an arc. Circle would be a complete circle. An arc would be something similar to this. You can curve it around, but in this case you're going to need to make it bigger. And you would need to space it different. So this really wouldn't work all that well because of how the letters are so close together. So let's turn this off. Oh, did I save it? So let's turn off the curve. You can see how close they are together. That's why it's making that look. Let's see if we can separate it and see if it changes the look of it. And because they're so long, when you curve them, it looks like they're poking out like little hairs. So this font wouldn't probably be the best for doing a curve. So you'd probably change it up to something a little bit more plain. But let's just go run through it real quick, just so we can add this to what we're working on. So as you can see, when we separated it more, it allows the space in between to actually work with us. Let's make this smaller. So let's say this was kind of the look you're going for, a circle. Because a lot of studios, as far as martial art gyms, you can see right here, a lot of times they'll do an icon, like we have an icon. They'll have an icon, then they'll have text and stuff around it. And typically you do this because you have a lot of text. So as you see, Master Chris Taekwondo, or Master Chris Absolute Taekwondo, there's a lot of writing. So it's good to do a circle in a case like this. But when we have something like Absolute Taekwondo, it's not really necessary. So that's probably why they're not doing it. But if you wanted to do a different layout, for example, since we're already here, let's make one more. So let's make it with this in the middle and Taekwondo on the bottom. So let's just make sure we line everything up, pop everything out to the edges. Let's do the same thing with the bottom. And then you can do the same thing. You can do the same variation of the different colors. Like this one, we're going to be doing black and gray just because we're already here, and we can just start with that. If you wanted to make this a little bit bigger, This would just be a different variation of the same logo. So if you wanted to use this in a different area, you could, or you want to maybe emphasize the Taekwondo. So we could save this after we crop the edges. Go to Edits, Crop Canvas, pull this in. Then we'll start changing the color. We'll do a black version, a white version, and we're doing the gray version now. Download. And if you want to have edges around this, you could, just like we have the edges around this. That way if you're laying like a black logo over top of something else that might be a little bit more dark, then what you can do, which here I'll show you in a second since we're going to be doing the black version. So let's say your background is going to be dark. So let's say it's this gray color. See how it doesn't really pop as much? It's kind of hard to see. So with the Absolute, what we can do is go to the outline like we've done before. Shadows, outlines. Make it white. You can make it red. I'd make it white. I'd turn the intensity down some, or the thickness. Excuse me. So let's do 5. Thickness of 5. Outline. Thickness 5. Go white. And then boom. Now if it's laying over top of something, you can see how it's easier to read. It pops a little bit more. So that's another option. And you could save that, and then let's do the white version. Let's get rid of the outline because it's making it look weird. There you go. No outline. White. Where are you, white? There you are. Alright, let's get rid of the background. Transparent. Save that. Now we have 2 different looks. We have all the same style, so when they change it, or if they change it, it's not going to be too different, because Absolute Taekwondo, the layout's the same. We cleaned it up so you can read it. Kept everything else pretty much the same. And we did that so we can show you some examples of, how to use PicMonkey, how to adjust things, and this can apply to any kind of small business. The more complicated your logo, clearly, it's going to be a little bit more harder to make it. But in that case, this would be a good way to simplify your logo. So hopefully all this was great knowledge for you. Let's go ahead and wrap this up so we can keep it under 30 minutes. But we're going to be having this probably come out once a week, once every other week, and then put out some more content based on making some graphics. Me and my brother are going to be doing a podcast here on Friday. We'll be going over some more info, more related to small businesses like martial art gym owners, personal trainers, people that need their social media managed for them. Instead of spending, like an hour a day making posts to your social media, we pretty much do it for you. So we post over 50 pieces of content a month on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Google My Business. So this is a quick little pitch for you, just to show you what we do. So if you're a small business owner, like a martial arts studio, we make over 20 pieces of content for your Facebook. So we have a social media calendar, which will have your Facebook, Instagram, and Google My Business. And then we schedule things out. We try to get everything done 90 days out. So you have 3 months of content scheduled. And then our premium program has a moderator, which this is kind of unique. I don't see a lot of other brands doing this. So not only do we post for the business, but we have a dedicated lead generating monitor or moderator. What they do is they'll go in, they'll engage with people who engage with the post. They have any kind of questions, they will forward them or answer the question for them. so that the business owner doesn't lose that lead, or that person doesn't, slip through the cracks. This is a game changer because it just makes your social media post more engaging, more effective, more efficient. And then our ultimate program, I'm not really going to go into. I'll let David talk a little bit more about that. It's basically, we have somebody who comes out to your location, we shoot video, take a bunch of images, and then we go back to our agency and pretty much do everything up here. But then you also have premium videos that you can use in your post. You can use them for ads. You can use them in email campaigns. You can use them for whatever you want. You can chop them up, and they're yours to do whatever you want with. So enjoy. Love you guys. Bye-bye.